Hello Internet, my name is Persephone and welcome to my channel. The early access launch of player housing is tomorrow, and with it comes the dye system, where you can change the color of decor items to match whatever vibe you happen to be going for. Dyes are made by scribes and alchemists, first breaking down herbs into pigments and then taking those pigments to the dye making station in the center of either neighborhood and turning them into dye. There are 10 pigments that currently create 62 distinct dye options, and thankfully Blizzard gave us many different options for herbs to use from each pigment type. One from every expansion, in fact, including Midnight. Today I'm going to go over which herbs you need for each color pigment, and what herb I think is the best choice to stockpile and farm to make said dyes. Spoiler alert for this list, I think anything from WoD is going to be the easiest herb to farm and stockpile for dyes. The reason being that you genuinely do not have to go out and farm anything if you set your garrison up properly. By placing the herb garden in your garrison, you're handed random free herbs each day, with the ability to upgrade the building for more output and recruit a follower to assign a specific herb to the whole plot for more yield of a particular pigment. For players who don't want to set up your garrison or don't want to wait each day for it, please continue watching for the active farming list. Starting off strong with the red pigment, you can use Mage Royal from Vanilla, Nether Bloom from Burning Crusade, Tiger Lily from Wrath, Cinder Bloom from Cataclysm, Rain Poppy from Pandaria, Fireweed from Warlords, Astral Glory from Legion, Star Moss from Battle for Azeroth, Widow Bloom from Shadowlands, Saxifrage from Dragonflight, Aerithor's Spear from The War Within, or Mana Lily from Midnight. Of these herbs, I think the easiest one to farm with the highest yield is either going to be Mage Royal from Vanilla or Rain Poppy from Pandaria. For Mage Royal, the target zone to farm is Hillsbrad Foothills, focusing on the outskirts of the ruins of Alterock, and for Rain Poppy, you'll want to do loops in Jade Forest, sticking to the rivers and marshy areas. The herb I would recommend farming the least being Widow Bloom. It's genuinely one of the worst farms in my opinion, and you get such low yield it's not worth the time. Going into orange next, your choices are Golden Sansom from Vanilla, Nightmare Vine from Burning Crusade, Gold Clover from Wrath, Heart Blossom from Cataclysm, Rain Poppy from Pandaria, Fireweed from Warlords, Foxflower from Legion, Siren's Pollen from Battle for Azeroth, Widow Bloom from Shadowlands, Wraithbark from Dragonflight, Lore Drop from The War Within, and Sanguithorn from Midnight. You may have noticed that some of the herbs repeat here. Since every expansion doesn't have 10 different herbs to choose from, Blizzard does have repeats in places it would make sense, for the most part anyway. Because of this repetition, we will also see some repetition in what herbs to farm. And again, I would recommend Rain Poppy for this pigment. A secondary farmable herb I would suggest as well is split between Golden Sansom, as it's incredibly easy to farm in places like Swamp of Sorrows and Silithus, and Foxflower, that is farmable in High Mountain. I would only suggest people farm Foxflower if you already have an established Legion Gatherer, as the yields are very low as you level up. The herb I would absolutely not suggest for orange on top of the already mentioned Widow Bloom is Wraithbark. For the yellow pigment, your choices are Sungrass from Vanilla, Dreaming Glory from Burning Crusade, Gold Clover from Wrath, Whiptail from Cataclysm, Green Tea Leaf from Pandaria, Gorgron Flytrap from Warlords, Fjarin Skaggle from Legion, Seastalk from Battle for Azeroth, Rising Glory from Shadowlands, Saxifrage from Dragonflight, Aerithor's Spear from The War Within, and Mana Lily from Midnight. The winners here are Whiptail and Green Tea Leaf. Follow the river closely in Oldham, looping around the river delta for the best numbers for Whiptail. And for Green Tea Leaf, I prefer zigzagging around Valley of the Four Winds. Just make sure to grab a pair of mist-piercing goggles first. As for the avoid herb, if I had to pick one, I'd say stay far away from Fjarin Skaggle. Green pigment comes from Swift Thistle and Vanilla, Fellweed from Burning Crusade, Adder's Tongue from Wrath, Ashara's Veil from Cataclysm, Green Tea Leaf from Pandaria, Nagrand Arrow Bloom from Warlords, Dreamleaf from Legion, Riverbud from Battle for Azeroth, Vigil's Torch from Shadowlands, Bubble Poppy from Dragonflight, Blessing Blossom from The War Within, and Sanguithorn from Midnight. The winner here is Dreamleaf by a mile, but only if you can find the farm empty. Farming Dreamleaf effectively means farming the lashers outside of Emerald Nightmare and Darkheart Thicket, killing the mobs and herbing them. These tags and herbing is not shareable, so this is only an effective farm if you're alone. You can farm them pretty easily inside Darkheart Thicket though, for almost as good of a yield. Check the description for my video on that farm for more information. If you can't get your hands on a free shard or don't want to run Darkheart Thicket, green tea leaf is still the second best. The worst in my opinion is Swift Thistle, as it's actually an uncommon drop from farming Briarthorn and Mage Royal. If you choose to farm these two herbs though, using your Swift Thistle for pigments isn't the worst source. For teal pigment, you'll need Bruiseweed from Vanilla, Terracone from Burning Crusade, Lichbloom from Wrath, Stormvine from Cataclysm, Silkweed from Pandaria, Starflower from Warlords, Yssaraline Seeds from Legion, Siren's Pollen from Battle for Azeroth, Marrowroot from Shadowlands, Hokenbloom from Dragonflight, Orbinid from The War Within, and Tranquility Bloom from Midnight. The best herb here, in my opinion, is Hokenbloom, as it's incredibly common while gathering in the Dragon Isles. Yssaraline Seeds is also a really good choice, as it drops as a secondary from any Legion herb, so it adds up really quickly. The only one I would stay far away from is Terracone. I've never had good luck trying to farm it, and generally walk away with very little flowers for my efforts. Blue pigment can be made from Silverleaf from Vanilla, Terracone from Burning Crusade, Icethorn from Wrath, Stormvine from Cataclysm, Silkweed from Pandaria, Frostweed from Warlords, Dreamleaf from Legion, Akunda's Bite from Battle for Azeroth, Death Blossom from Shadowlands, Bubble Poppy from Dragonflight, Lore Drop from The War Within, and Argent Leaf from Midnight. You can probably already guess which one I'm going to recommend here, and that's Dreamleaf from Legion, as we covered it in the green pigment section, and Silkweed from Pandaria. To farm Silkweed, you'll want to do loops around the Valley of the Four Winds, sticking to the river and marshy areas. Like the green tea leaf, make sure to pick up a pair of mist-piercing goggles for maximum yield. The worst on this list is Terracone again by a mile. It really is that lame to farm. Purple pigment, which is going to be the one I focus on the most, what can I say? I'm a purple girly, is made with Kingsblood from Vanilla, Mana Thistle from Burning Crusade, Talandra's Rose from Wrath, Twilight Jasmine from Cataclysm, Fool's Cap from Pandaria, Talador Orchid from Warlords, Aetheril from Legion, Xanthid from Battle for Azeroth, Vigil's Torch from Shadowlands, Hokenbloom from Dragonflight, Orbinid from The War Within, and Argent Leaf from Midnight. The best herbs for purple to farm, in my opinion, will be Aetheril from Legion, doing laps around Azuna, and Hokenbloom, which we covered earlier. The worst for purple, I think, might actually be Orbinid. In all of the time farming in The War Within, I feel it's one of the more uncommon herbs for sure. For brown pigment, the one you'll want for most wood grain colors, you'll need Briarthorn from Vanilla, Dreaming Glory from Burning Crusade, Adder's Tongue from Wrath, Cinder Bloom from Cataclysm, Desecrated Herbs from Pandaria, Gorgon Flytrap from Warlords, Foxflower from Legion, Seastalk from Battle for Azeroth, Marrowroot from Shadowlands, Wraithbark from Dragonflight, Myco Bloom from The War Within, and Azurroot from Midnight. Interestingly, brown is actually one that I think a lot of the available herbs suck to farm, and the only one I'd recommend is Myco Bloom because it's so plentiful in The War Within. The absolute worst on this list is Briarthorn. It's actually fairly rare and generally expensive, so if I were to spend my time farming it, I for sure wouldn't waste it on dyes. Black pigment can be made from Fadeleaf from Vanilla, Felweed from Burning Crusade, Lichbloom from Wrath, Ashara's Veil from Cataclysm, Desecrated Herbs from Pandaria, Nagrand Arrowbloom from Warlords, Yssaraline Seeds from Legion, Riverbud from Battle for Azeroth, Death Blossom from Shadowlands, Wraithbark from Dragonflight, Blessing Blossom from The War Within, and Azurroot from Midnight. Again, a lot of these herbs are not great to farm, and I wouldn't feel right sending people out to farm most of these. Obviously, like I said before, Yssaraline Seeds are a common drop from any Legion herb, so if you're already out farming another one of these, the piggyback could be really good. Alternatively, Battle for Azeroth isn't the worst to farm, so Riverbud is another option. Doing laps around, you guessed it, rivers. I prefer Nazmir. Like I mentioned earlier, Wraithbark is terrible to farm, so that would be my absolute not. Our last pigment color is white, which can be made from Peacebloom from Vanilla, Ragvile from Burning Crusade, Icethorn from Wrath, Whiptail from Cataclysm, Snow Lily from Pandaria, Talador Orchid from Warlords, Fjarnskagel from Legion, Winter's Kiss from Battle for Azeroth, Rising Glory from Shadowlands, Saxifrage from Dragonflight, Myco Bloom from The War Within, and Tranquility Bloom from Midnight. As I stated earlier, both Whiptail and Myco Bloom are great choices, but if you want to mix it up, Snow Lily from Pandaria is actually really good too. I like to do big loops around the mountains in Kunlai Summit. Fjarnskagel is probably the worst on this list and an easy avoid. You might have noticed I didn't mention any of the midnight herbs as good or bad, and that's because we just don't know enough about them yet. We don't know routes or drop rates, not to mention during current content the herbs will be required for current content crafting, so using such high demand materials for dyes seems like a bad idea overall. At the end of the day, you have many options and avenues to acquire your dyes, and none of the choices are the wrong choice as long as you're having fun. I, for one, have been farming my garrison and will continue to do so, as the price of dyes will be determined by the lowest possible option, and historically, because of how bountiful a garrison can be, it's Warlord's herbs. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked that video, make sure to hit the like button. If you want to see more videos by me, make sure to subscribe. And don't forget to comment any questions, compliments, or concerns you may have down below.